I don't know how legit Punisher plays off the side of the stage. So when it comes to being able to play,
He's sort of the same. He sort of focuses more on the neutral game and just winning off of basic stuff. However, I have seen legit Punisher go insane with the spear neutral sig off stage and pull some insane gimps off like that. Like he's not at the level of uncomfortable off stage that Wilson is. He definitely plays off stage when it's favorable to do so.
and then Punisher also kind of has that extra weapon with huge length to be able to benefit a weapon toss playstyle, which I also don't see Wilson use a lot. Wilson, we've said, very comfortable with both weapons, right? Likes to use whatever he picks up and uses it fully, but he doesn't really throw them away that often. But we might see that. We see a down throw coming out from him there. Both players holding on to their weapons. Wilson goes in for that side sig.
Both players at orange too. It's pretty close so far. Both players sort of looking for an advantage, but not really finding it. Legit Punisher just goes for the hard ground pound read, but doesn't really work out.
Sider comes out. Wilson goes for a side sig, and he actually dodges in and gets a down sig. That was such a cool punish from Legit. And Legit, holding on to his spear, waits patiently for Wilson to toss aside that ball, and Wilson picks up the guitars, goes in for the side light, has both players in the kill percent, goes for recovery, and Wilson is punished by that down air. And a Sider comes out, and Wilson's sent flying.
Yeah, those siders will actually put him into position to kill.
He did a GC neutral sig there instead of dodging through the ground pound and actually lost his stock. That's very interesting.
Yeah, that wasn't the best option.
I'm almost going to say that maybe there was a misinput. If he just dodged in place, I think he would have been okay. But either way, or dodged upwards. But Wilson gets a neutral light, doesn't get the recovery, however. And Punisher gets swatted very quickly off the side of the stage by that side air. And he is even in stocks now, 2-2.
Yeah, very close game so far, especially as Wilson evens up the small damage lead that Legit had. Very hard to say who's going to have the advantage at any point in this game. Legit going with the insane lance combos, and he seems pretty comfortable with unarmed too, but Wilson in the straight weapon on weapon gameplay seems to be taking advantage of Legit. Seems like he's the better spear player.
Wilson, yeah, and what Wilson's doing off stage too, as well, that I quite like, is being able to toss a spear downwards and pick it up almost all the time, because Punisher's almost always going for the same recovery as he gets back onto the stage. Throws it a sidelight there, Wilson's not ready to punish, but they're still pretty even in regards to damage. N-Sig's thrown out, Wilson's able to punish that really easily with recovery, and N-Sig to cover his landing. Weapon toss actually connects, and Punisher uses his dodge upwards, but Wilson's not ready to punish. Recovery comes out, dodges out of the way of the ground pound, and both players are at kill percent.
Yeah, the downside connecting from Wilson. It's hard to say, like, I still have no idea who's going to be taking any advantage in this game. Wilson had the advantage on the first stock, Legit Punisher takes the advantage here, but
the bomb
just instantly traded
completely
back.
Evens it out. Yeah, downsig coming out from Legit Punisher. They're both players are rather even. Dive. Downer comes in from Wilson. Wilson tries to get in a neutral light. Punisher holds on to the lance, tries to get in for that down air. It doesn't quite work out. He wasn't using the lance too much this game. Tosses it up to force Wilson's approach and stop it. Punisher holds on to the spear, goes for an air, side light, goes for a down light, but it was a little delayed, and the sider actually punishes Wilson for going in for that down light. And a nice way to work around that end sig. Wilson and Punisher are trading evenly.
Yeah, like, for the entire game, no one's ever had an advantage. This is perhaps the biggest advantage I've seen a player have.
And that's only because of the bomb trade at the very start. But, ooh, Wilson ducks underneath that side sig, but doesn't punish anything. Gets that side light to be able to get punish him for going for that ground pound, but that's not very much damage. Wilson tries to go in for that down light. Punisher jumps above him. Both players holding onto the spear. Side sig, punished by a D-light side air. That's pretty
just
devastating.
like that. Equal again. Both players are getting crazy close to kill percent. Actually, Legit Punisher eating that, he will not be able to eat another one of those, and the ground pound might even do it.
No, he makes it back, and then Wilson flubs the other ground pound.
Classic Wilson edge guard.
Side air comes in, sends him flying. He doesn't even have to dodge to get out of it, but his dodge is gone. Wilson can punish with an N-Sig here. Goes for the recovery instead.
Punisher should have lost right there. If Legit Punisher manages to turn this around, then it means that Wilson lost this game because he doesn't know how to
Wilson nearly got hit by that down sig. That was scary. Wilson not opting to go for any signatures here. Now Wilson's on the ledge. Ooh, slide charge down sig coming in from Punisher, and that was like that was the riskiest option to put when both players are 1-1 in red.
Yeah, that was a crazy, scary situation for both players. If Wilson messed the punish up in any way, he was donezo, but he knows how to be patient. He's Wilson. He just waits for the down sig to finish recovery and cleans it up with a free ground pound at the end there. But wow, that was very close for what should have been Wilson's game from that missed ground pound. But We're going straight into game 2. Wilson up by 1 game. This could still just so easily go either way.
D-Light coming in. Side light. Neutral light. Wilson taking a solid advantage in the lead, but then there goes. Punisher gets the neutral air as he comes back down. Neutral light comes out. Side light follow up, and Wilson's ready to punish as he dodges through. Recovery comes in from Punisher. Neutral light. Wilson and Punisher just exchanging blows evenly. Side air comes in from Punisher as he hits him with that spear. Side light comes in once again, and both players are just hitting each other left and right with these spears. It's actually baffling how even these exchanges are consistently throughout the entire match. Sidelight side air comes in from Wilson, and Wilson's waiting for Legit Punisher to come down. Sidelight comes out as well, and Wilson holds onto the spear, goes out to the side sig, and that side sig's punished by a down air. Wilson's trying to cover him with the sidelights of his spear, but both players find themselves at kill percent, essentially. Downlight comes out. Oh, a stick comes from Wilson, and Wilson is trying to end the stock as quick as possible.
One thing I've noticed is that Legit Punisher isn't really utilizing the full capacity of Lance's throwing capabilities. Like, he can be really playing a lot more aerial, but he prefers to just stay on the ground, and he doesn't go for nearly as many throws as you might see other Lance players go for. Like, he hasn't really connected any down throw to neutral airs at all versus Wilson. He just doesn't like to play above Wilson at all, which is strange because that's what you see most Lance players go for.
Wilson gets that D-Light, but doesn't get the downlight follow-up. But the recovery, Punisher just falls into it. Not expecting him to throw out another hitbox because Wilson didn't even jump. He just put in the up-heavy input, and Punisher, I guess, wasn't expecting that, trying to go low to go around the recovery. And Wilson takes the lead. But Punisher quickly returns. He quickly returns the favor. The down sig evens it up 2-2.
So close. I think these guys must spar each other a lot. Because I don't think I've ever seen two players so equally matched. They have to be somewhat familiar with each other. Otherwise, someone would be getting an advantage at some point, right? Like, I don't know.
Orion holding on, waiting up for that down sig.
Advantage.
Yeah, no, bomb comes out. It's definitely not a volatile match because both players, you're not seeing a thing where like one game player has 3-stock advantage, the other player has a 3-stock advantage. Like, it's just super even exchanges. Weapon toss comes out, but no follow-up. Wilson's just perfectly fine just tossing those 8 damage spears into his face. Goes for the side stick, but it's interrupted by a weapon toss of Punisher's own. But Wilson, as soon as he was getting a lead, is immediately returned by a side air. But that ground pound comes out.
Is this it?
No, another ground pound comes out. A little delayed from Wilson as Wilson waits it out, and Punisher's able to get back. Goes for that slide charge down stick. That's what killed you last time, Punisher. Be very careful. And the side stick comes out, catches his landing as he tries to recover out of the way.
That was a bad recovery from Legit Punisher.
Yeah, and Wilson actually takes a solid lead now. He's in the orange, but he's also Queen Nine.
Biggest lead we've seen this game, at least.
Ooh, but an immediate...
Legit wants to turn it back.
Yeah, ground pound comes in. Punisher's like, okay, you have a stock lead, I have to fix this. But Wilson finally retaliating and actually getting a nice guitar string off there. Puts him into the yellow.
Alright, Legit finds a bit of the more damage. Wilson is definitely at kill percent.
Whoa!
A lot, but
slide charge down stick into a... Oh, he should have gone for a ground pound there. That would have been fantastic. Wilson choosing to stay safe, and 2 down sticks immediately put out by Punisher. Punisher goes for a recovery. Wilson gets that down stick once again, being a little bit more proactive with his signatures now. Down stick again sends him into the red, and suddenly Wilson's running away with his lead. Side stick comes out. He just wants to end Punisher's stock, and Punisher is terrified as all this purple lightning comes out of Queen Nine's guitars.
Finally, Legit Punisher trades off the kill, but look at this. There's finally an advantage. Legit Punisher's already in kill percent. Wilson has a whole stock to play with.
Bomb in hand, Wilson charging it. Punisher just wants to get out of the way of that bomb as soon as possible. Holds onto the spear, and if this game's going to be as even as I expect it to be, I don't see Punisher being able to bring this back. But Wilson ground pounds into his spear neutral light and finally finds a weapon of his own. After all that sig spam, I'm wondering if Wilson's out of ideas for how to kill Punisher. Punisher gets in, puts him into the orange.
Legit Punisher doing a really good job of bringing it back. And even though he's the one at kill percent and Wilson isn't just yet, it's quickly... The gap's getting closed. That
dodged into the down sig, and wow, Punisher's actually bringing this back. I almost feel like having a stock lead in this game puts the person in the lead at a disadvantage because they suddenly worry about losing it, you know? 2 recoveries come in, and Wilson nearly gets hit by the 3rd recovery as he's put in the kill percent, and suddenly that stock lead that Wilson has gone. It's even. Both players are at kill percent, lands with a nair, sends him flying.
Another nair might kill.
But that definitely didn't. Dodges in place, and the recovery will do it.
The recovery will do it. Wilson takes game 2. He takes the set.